Hey, math champions, you're welcome to Math with Maurice, where we make and solve math in minutes. Today, we are learning how to simplify fractions. And what does the word simplify mean? The word simplify, to simplify a fraction, what does it mean? Now, this means that you're making the fraction smaller, but keeping the same value. You're making the fraction smaller, but keeping the same value. In other terms, we mean we have to reduce the fraction to the very lowest term, to the very lowest term. Here's how we simplify fractions. Suppose you have 8 over 12, and we are to make this fraction smaller without changing the value or without changing its worth. The very first rule to do here is to find a common factor of both 8 and 12, or of both the numerator and the denominator. You find a common factor, okay? A common factor, all right? And when we look at this carefully, we can tell that a common factor of 8 and 12 is 2, okay? So 2 times what gives us 8? We can say that 2 times 4 gives us 8. And then when we come to the denominator, we know that 2 times 6 gives us 8. Okay? Yeah, 2 times 6 gives us 12. So now that we have a common factor, we can just cross the common factors out, which is the 2 and the 2 here are cancelled out. Now we've reduced 8 over 12 to 4 over 6. Again, is this the very lowest term? No, because they are both even numbers. And both even numbers can have a factor of 2 again. So we can change this to 2 times 2 because 2 times 2 is 4. And then with 6, we have 2 times 3. And that gives us 6. And so because we have a common factor at the numerator and the denominator, we cross them out. And we are left with 2 out of 3. Now, when you look at this 2 out of 3, you realize that there's no common factor that can divide both the numerator and the denominator. And so 8 over 12 reduced or simplified is 2 over 3. Now, when you find a common factor and you reduce it, you keep on reducing it until there's no other factor that can divide both the numerator and the denominator. All right, we're going with a second example, and that example will be 15 over 20. 15 over 20. Now, when we look at this common term, these numbers here of the numerator and denominator, we can clearly tell that a common factor of 15 and 20 is 5. And so we know that 5 times 3 gives us 15, and with the denominator, 5 times 4 gives us 20. Now, the common term here will be 5 and 5. So we cancel that out, and we are left with our 3 over 4. Now, whenever you have a number that follows, that is a consecutive number. A number that follows each other on the numerator and the denominator, that is your simplest form. There's no other number that can divide 3 and 4 at the same time. A common factor is 1 anyway, but we don't want 1 because 3 divided by 1 is 3, and 4 divided by 1 is still 4. So we want other factors aside 1 that can divide both the numerator and the denominator. So 15 divided by 20 simplified is 3 over 4. Okay, smart learners, it's your turn to solve this. Let's go with 36 over 40. Okay, 36 over 40. I'm giving you some few seconds to do that. Great. So let's go, or let's solve it together. Now, when you look at 36 and 40, we can have 2 as a common factor because they are both even numbers. We can also have 4 as a common factor. And mind you, the bigger the factor you use in dividing, the faster you get to your answer. If you use a smaller factor, you're going to take some time to arrive at your final answer. And so 4, we know, times 9 is 36. And then with 40, we know 4 times 10 is 40. So then we can cancel out our common factors, and that is a 4 here. And our final answer is 9 out of 10. This is super easy, as I said earlier. It's super easy. All right, the next one is for you to solve and comment for me, and that is 24 over 30. Simplify 24 over 30 and send your answer to me as a comment. And this is how we solve or simplify fractions. Okay, this is how we simplify fractions in minutes. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Math with Maurice, where we solve math in minutes. Bye-bye.